So the jumping beans is probably one of the most advanced windmill variations out there. And today, with the help of one of my students, BBoy Wayan from Battle Droid's crew, we'll be breaking it down and helping you get this move on lock. So what's up, y'all? It's your boy Coach Sambo, sharing with you guys only a fraction of my knowledge after 20 years of professional and intensive b-boy coaching. I just want to start this video out by giving a big shout out to b-boy Caveman, the founder of the jumping beans. And if you never heard or seen b-boy Caveman, then definitely look him up just to make sure you know your shit. If you're about to learn one of his moves, then you might as well just look him up and know who the guy is. The art of knowing your shit is a must, but on the other hand, a little bit of a lost art in this b-boy and b-girl game. So just listen to your Jedi Master right here and do what he says. So the ingredients you need to learn the jumping beans is obviously the windmill, and then you should have a very good shoulder freeze on both sides. Yes, both sides. Because I know most of you guys like to do your freezes on one side, totally avoiding the uncomfortable side, which will deliver major disadvantage to you in the near future.
Great Scott!
Now let's get started by getting into our shoulder freezes and performing our hops. Now performing clean, clear, and good hops is only possible when applying a good form. That means pulling your legs in, knees close to your chest, and then kicking the legs up towards the ceiling, and then bringing them back in. Reminding you guys one more time that you want to do this on both sides. Because with jumping beans, you're hopping from one side to the other, so you really need to be comfortable within these shoulder hops. And don't forget to pay good attention to that hop technique and leg form. Use the form, Luke. Now let's move on to the next step, which is hopping from one shoulder to the other. Now for this step, you want to start on your 90 shoulder. So your 90 shoulder is the same side as your baby freeze or stab freeze when executing a windmill. So start from your knees, place your 90 shoulder on the floor, pull those legs in to apply the good form, Luke. And then kick those legs out while jumping from your 90 shoulder to the invert 90 shoulder. Also adding the little detail right here that when you land on your invert 90 shoulder, that you then pull your legs back in to soften the blow and reposition yourself for the next hop that will follow. So basically at this point, I just want to share with you guys that during the jumping beans, we maintain and utilize a pump position throughout the whole move. When comparing it to a regular windmill where you have the legs stretched and open at all times, it's obviously a completely different technique. And with a regular windmill, you're not hopping from one shoulder to the other. So keep that in mind while training and exercising all these shoulder positions and shoulder hops. Now let's just execute this part from a windmill. And there are two ways of doing this. Number one is starting out with your windmill and then performing a jump from your back straight onto that 90 shoulder. The second way of doing it is performing your windmill, going past your head or a headstand, and from then dropping into your 90 shoulder to then perform the hop into the invert 90 shoulder. Now this is really doable for a lot of b-boys and b-girls that have a decent windmill. However, executing continuous jumping beans is a lot more challenging. So that's why at this point, I recommend you guys to execute just one jumping bean and then connecting that inside shoulder freeze into a baby freeze. So you can then connect it to a windmill and basically combine it to whatever you want. Just a little gift for you guys by your man Coach Sambo. So you can already apply it at a really quick pace and maybe combine it with a halo or a backspin or whatever you want. Let me know in the comment section down below what you can combine it with when transitioning through this baby freeze. You got me pretty curious right here. Now the next step is probably the hardest, which is working towards those continuous jumping beans. So something that can make it a little bit easier and more enjoyable for you guys is to practice it on mats or maybe even a spring floor. Or what I could also very strongly recommend is using this long sleeve protective shirt by BPRO, which is really handy for these kind of moves. It has protective cushions all on the shoulders and on the elbows and even on the sides of the wrists. You can find more details in the description down below. Now the challenging part at this point will be hopping from that invert 90 shoulder back onto your 90 shoulder, which is quite a jump you have to make. And it can be a little rough, and then keeping in mind that when landing on that 90 shoulder again, you have to use that pump position again to then once more jump again to the invert 90 side, therefore continuously hopping from one shoulder to the other. Now this is definitely a little challenging, especially if you don't use the form, Luke. Basically not executing a good pump position and not clearly jumping from one shoulder to the other. Also, I want to add here that if you're not utilizing that pump and that hop technique efficiently, then it will start to just look like a regular windmill as you roll over the floor. So if you're at this stage and you're working on continuous jumping beans, a great tip I have for you guys is to really be aware of what you're doing right here in your head during the move. Because obviously in the beginning, it's not gonna feel natural at all. If you just listen to your gut and your feeling, then another great tip for you guys is try to execute 2 jumping beans and then transition it back into the windmill, just so you get to keep that momentum. And then you try 3 jumping beans and then again, transitioning to that baby freeze back into the windmill. And then just trying to push the limits until you just start to get the feel of this move. And then basically you reach a point where you can do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
Including maybe one of the most advanced variations that I've seen, which is B-Boy Eagle from Korea, performing one shoulder jumping beats. I mean, this is just one of the sickest moves ever. Anyway, I'm really curious to know who has the sickest jumping beans out there besides B-Boy Caveman. I got a couple I can think of, but I want to test your knowledge. Also, if you love my videos and you like the way I teach, then don't forget I have hundreds of tutorials on my YouTube channel. And then if you're looking for that more advanced and more exclusive content, then definitely check out my website, because at the end of the day, when you think about it, it's just all about that B-Boy shit. Peace.